Is it good? Hello, my name is Daniel Alvarenga.
My name is Raphael Champeau, and I just want to talk a little bit about why I choose France as a country. I'm from France, I'm from in the south, and I'm in love with this country. I am born there, and I just wanted to learn more about the economic system, and yeah, just to know how it works and stuff like that. So I was very happy to do that. So let's start.
So this is just a brief overview of France's economic state. France has a major leading role in the economy due to its history and strategic economic position geographically. France shares its borders with Spain, Germany, and Italy, so it holds a very strong position in between all the European Union. There's lots of diversity in France, which reinforces the power that they have economically. They have a population of 68 million and there are 122 inhabitants per kilometer. The difference between their metropolitan areas and beautiful countrysides only further expresses their economic wealth. But with the population aging, there is a big threat to France's social and economic status.
Yeah. So. A little bit France's role in the past world events. Around 1715, the Enlightenment began. With that era came ideas of freedom and democracy when it came to political ideals, which influenced overall global political thought. Then came the period of the most economic and urban development of all time, the Industrial Revolution, creating a commercial network that is still expanding to this day. Finally, the construction of the European Union, promoting a big political cooperation.
Everyone wants to take a trip to France. The culture is admired worldwide. The beautiful streets, all the artists, and beautiful pieces of art that come from there, the food and drink that, makes you want to buy more and more every day if you were to visit. Um, it's very nice. And all these traits of France's culture drives and attracts millions of tourists each year. And those tourists, loved or hated, drive France's economy.
Hmm. Yeah, France is the number one for like tourists. There is a lot of people every year. We can see in Paris or in the south more and more. That's great. Like the food is very different, and we have a lot of things to show. Um, the education system in France. So the French education system sets up their population for success, with free education until the age of 16. That can vary with 18, but like most part of the time 16. And if they choose to continue their education, France offers world renewed university education, particularly in the subject of engineering, social science, and medicine. In 2023, France's literacy rate was close to 100%, showing the effectiveness of their education system. But with all the benefits of the education system in France, there are flaws. The skills that are taught are not necessarily the needs of the French job market.
So some of the French exports and imports, lots of famous brands, notably, Chanel being shipped all around the world, to be bought by some of the most wealthy people in the world. Those purchases come back to France's economic wealth and helps them a lot. Um, and those are just luxury goods. That's not even beginning to talk about the agriculture of France. France is very known for their wines, cheeses, and cereals, and those are their main exports. But to keep those exports running, they need imports as well, um, which is where they get raw materials and energy to keep producing those exports.
Yeah, and the group LVMH is like one of the biggest like group in France about like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and a lot of brand. And it's like very, very rich people in France. So a little bit of about the economic state over the last 5 years. There has been significant variations in France economy over the past 5 years. Since 2019, the economic growth of France comes out to 0.78%. We can imagine with the pandemic, the COVID-19, there is a lot of changement. And while public debt is very worrying, with its project to reach 100 on 11% in 2024, which is very bad.
So when we're talking about economy, you have to talk about inflation. Not only does it affect France, but it affects everyone, even us in the US. Um, with a peak inflation rate in 2022 of 5.22%, the rise in prices has particularly affected the prices of raw materials and the cost of energy. And like we said in the 2 slides ago, raw materials is what they need to keep producing the exports. Low-income households have felt an increased pressure when it comes to the power that they hold to purchase goods. Those low-income households have had to cut back on other purchases that they may have felt, not as pressured to buy in the past, and that's because of inflation.
Yeah. So a little bit about the past resilience. With all the struggle that France may have financially, their history shows that while they always tend to persevere, that they're like very vulnerable to times of crisis. The last major recession occurred in 2009, when GDP contracted by 2.6%, was the biggest decline since the Second World War. So yeah, and in 2021, fueled by the post-pandemic rebound, there was the most significant expansion in 6.44%. I remember I was with my dad, like just to get gas, and it was like very expensive. For 1 liter, it was maybe I don't know, more than 2.5 dollars, so which is a lot. So yeah.
So how can France combat these economic challenges that they're facing? Um, Our points were they should be modernizing the economy. It would provide a lot of opportunity for them to grow. And by modernizing the economy, we mean there should be plenty of investment in renewable energies. Um, the raw materials are getting more and more expensive, so renewable energies would help France save money. Um, they should support new innovative ideas, specifically those companies working in green technologies or biotechnologies, simplify administrative processes. So communications between countries is a lot smoother. And this modernization would reduce cost and improve the transparency of the public management.
So for a little bit about like the conclusion and talk about a little bit everything. To conclude and add on to solutions, France should seek the education system needs to be restructured to ensure opportunities can be actually made through the system. Too many young people are not adequate candidates for jobs because of the skills in the education system not being what the work field requires. I think we talk about that on the paper, but we have a lot of unemployment in France, so we need to work on that. And aid will be targeted towards those low-income households who are pressured to purchase goods, helping reduce inequality financially.
So thank you for watching our presentation. Despite its challenges, France retains considerable assets, notably in its cultural attractiveness, its central role within the European Union, and its high-level education. By adopting bold reforms and investing in strategic sectors, It can not only overcome the current difficulties it's facing, but it can also establish itself as a model for the transition to a more sustainable and resilient economy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Oh, how I stop here?
Yeah.